Obviously, the top of Everest does not have many rocks on it. So I got this. Little did I know back in the time that it would actually become a real obsession. Hi, my name is Arjun Vajpai and I am a professional mountaineer. "8,000 meters is a mark set by mountaineers. Above 8,000 meters, life, the more the time you spend basically over there, the lesser the chances you have of coming back home. Take a cup of hot boiling water, you throw it in the sky, it won't even touch the ground. So that's how cold it is at times. As of date, there are less than 40, I think. There are 38 or 39 people who've climbed the 8,000 meter peaks. I went through the list and in front of every name, there was a flag of the country. I was very disheartened to not find an Indian flag in there. And that's when I decided that one day I'm going to climb all the 8,000 meter mountains and put India in this elite list. I realized I wanted to climb mountains when I was probably 10 years old. I went for a short hike with my grandfather, Nanaji, through the Sahyadri Hills. Saw the sun setting over there and I asked myself this question that if it's so beautiful from here, I want to see how beautiful will it be from the highest point on this planet. I realized I didn't know what was the highest point on this planet. So he said it's called Mount Everest. I said, oh yes. It rang a bell in my head that I'd read a chapter in my 6th grade itself in my Hindi textbook on Madam Bachindri Pal ma'am. And I remembered being inspired by her journey and getting to know that people actually make it to the top. I feel picking up a rock from every mountain was something which never came into my mind in the initial bit. It just came along the way. First I climbed Everest and then I picked a rock from there. So I think Everest will always stay very close to my heart, it being my first 8,000 meter peak. Lhotse was the second mountain which I climbed. Unfortunately, on Lhotse, right below the summit, there's a dead body of an old climber which is hanging, and it's right on the rope. In that steep section, you literally have to hold on to him and climb over him. So I still remember very vividly because of this that I just joined my hands in front of this guy and I said, I'm really sorry, but I have to climb over you. I think the second time when I did this, picking up a rock, was a time when I decided that this was my obsession. This one is from Manaslu and I became the youngest person ever in history to climb 8,000 meter peaks at the age of 18. Manaslu summit is very special again because it's like a cornice. A cornice is basically when from the windward side of the mountain, the snow falls onto the leeward side. It just keeps getting stuck. So it's like an overhang which is just made of ice and snow. So if you step foot on it, you might fall on the other side of the mountains. It's the very tip of an 8,000 meter peak. Whenever I say 8,000 meters, we all have to keep in mind that it's basically 8 vertical kilometers straight up from where we are sitting right now, right? And then the way is obviously very long. So in 2012, I aimed to climb Cho Oyu and Shishapangma, which were 2 of the 8,000 meter peaks in the Tibetan region. But on my first 8,000er itself, I faced one of my biggest failures. I found myself paralyzed from the left side of my body at 7,100 meters and the storm wasn't ready to come down. The Sherpas were getting into really bad shape. We'd lost our oxygen supplies. We'd run out of all kinds of juices in our radios. There was no fuel left to melt the snow, to have any drinking water. Somehow the Sherpas were able to save their lives. They came down, but they were very determined. They promised me as I lay in that tent up there on that mountain far, far, far away in Tibet, they might come back up again. So they might try to rescue me if I'm still alive till then. I realized that I was going to die. This was the day. Probably my obsession for things has taken me so far that I dreamt a little too big than my own capabilities. Sometimes the cost of exploration has to also be paid with life itself. What I've learned out of all of this is that if you give up in the high mountains, you die. So there is no way that you can give up. There is just no way that you can give up. I took the crampon in the right hand and in just this whole josh, I tore the tent. I crawled out of the tent and now I'm out in the open. Then I realized, okay, this wasn't such a good thing which I am doing with myself. So remember crawling for like 4 hours, 4.5 hours. I'd reached this point where there are two ice cliffs, basically straight ice walls, and I looked on from this cliff. This is going to be it. Let it be. So I just pushed myself down from the cliff, and good 150, 160 meter long section. So I came tumbling down. I fell down over there, and then I realized the snow around me started to turn a little bit red. So obviously I was bleeding from certain places, and then I passed out. I don't have any other memory from there. And then I think the next day the weather cleared up and the Sherpas found me. The recovery process started for Cho Oyu, and I promised myself lying in that hospital bed in Ames, Delhi, that until I don't climb something harder than Cho Oyu, I'll never go back to Cho Oyu. This is the phase where I call becoming a mountaineer, right? It taught me to fall in love with the mountains regardless of success or failures. Cho Oyu being the 6th highest mountain, the sensible choice was Makalu. Makalu is the 5th highest mountain in the world, and it's far more technically challenging than Cho Oyu, and it's far more lesser people have climbed Makalu. On Cho Oyu, I went down in 2012, 2013 on Makalu, first failed attempt, second failed attempt, third one because of earthquake we had to abandon. By this time, I'd lost most of my sponsors. People had started losing faith in me, and my obsession had become one of my biggest hauntings, that will I ever climb a mountain again, because this was 4 back-to-back failures. Now in 2016, we are finally there in our 4th attempt. Soon after picking up this very special rock right below the summit of Makalu, the only thing which was in my mind was chasing this one. In less than 3 months' time, I was back on Cho Oyu after 4 years, and finally I submitted Cho Oyu in our 2016 autumn season attempt. This comes from the highest point in India. It is India's highest mountain, which is called Mount Kangchenjunga. When we started the expedition, little did I know that by the end of the climb, I'll be the only guy left on the mountain waiting for good weather. But the snow conditions were so bad that people were getting buried up to their chest in snow on their way to the summit push. Nobody was able to summit Kangchenjunga that year. Finally, I think on the 20th of May, we summited Kangchenjunga in 2018. And the 6th one came to the kitty with the tag of us breaking many records, world records for India as a mountaineer. We became the youngest person to climb 6 8,000 meter peaks in the world at the age of 24. Next 8 are in process, and I hope I'm able to climb all of them very soon. There are lots of hurdles which lie between me and these 8 rocks, but one rock at a time, one mountain at a time. I'm inching in towards my goals. The dream of becoming the first Indian to climb all the 14 8,000 meter mountains is burning more brighter than ever. The dreams which I had dreamt of, I have received much more than that, and if I feel I could make it so far, the journey ahead should definitely be not so difficult.